Hello, everyone. How's it going? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to our episode of Boys in Blue, our beloved club. This is channel dedicated to our beloved club, Manchester City. Hope you all had a great New Year celebration. And on the behalf of Boys in Blue, we both of us wish you a very happy New Year. Hope all of you had a great celebration, and hope this New Year looks promising for all of you. Just this as you say, ask our date hai 1st January. As you know, 1st Jan is more of a transfer month, and that is Samir Bhai's month more or like Samir का is a favorite month. Transfer period आता है तो Samir के लिए एकदम best ही हो जाता है. तो just before going into it, just
Are you mistaking me with Todd Bowley, please?
Yeah,
that's his month.
I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, even if I'm mistaken with it. But all in all, bro, कैसा है? How was your New Year?
All good. यार मैं उस अकेले उस दिन पे ज्यादा प्रेशर नहीं डालता हूँ, उस दिन पे इतना वजन नहीं डालता हूँ कि लाइक कम ऑन कुछ करना है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है भाई.
पूरा एक महीना है अभी.
हाँ मतलब यार कैलेंडर का डेट बदला है ऑनेस्टली.
वो तो है.
बट
या
कुछ कह रहा था.
No, I was just like, so just wanted to let our viewers know that of course we had a great result against Sheffield this weekend, and of course our close one of the potential rival dropping points has made it good week for us. But उसके लिए हम अलग एपिसोड में बात करेंगे. This is episode is mostly focused on transfer.
आज कोई गेम डिस्कशन नहीं, कोई कुछ नहीं.
आज फुल ट्रांसफर फोकस्ड है.
This is boardroom. This is like वो ये हम बेसिकली आज हमसे मोनोपोली वाली बात करेंगे जो फुटबॉल में जिससे कहा जाता है ट्रांसफर मार्केट. और as I mentioned in for Todd Bowley, this is basically an amusement park. उसके लिए एक महीने का विंटर वंडरलैंड खुल गया है फाइनली.
उसका मंथ है like वैसा है. So we're going to discuss potential transfers to Man City. We're going to talk about कि क्या हम expect कर सकते क्या नहीं. And there is one like that is the best thing to have Samir on this pod is that we get to know exclusive news that जो हमको बाहर भी बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं होती है, which you will get to know in details in this year. So just to start in general, what's like general state here at Man City का transfer window? What do you think? Because January is not mostly City के लिए उतना ये नहीं होता, active होता है, but still, what do you think? What is your general feeling कि इस बार क्या होगा?
So I think so. Basically, January window is something जहाँ पे teams target करती है अगर उनकी injury situation कुछ ज़्यादा ही खराब हो. So they were looking for some short fixes so that they can kind of either salvage or improve in the second half of the season. या फिर since अगर देखा जाए तो South American football खत्म हो गया है, season खत्म हो गया है. So I think that they target kind of players from there so that they can kind of decide कि उनके साथ क्या करना है आगे जाके. So rather that they will also get clarity upon their futures with where it lies beyond that. So yeah, basically the window is just to get either short fixes or poach talent. Or agar
right.
Liverpool, Newcastle ka
yeah, yes.
Okay. So Forza Zindabad. Shout out to Forza.
Yes.
So and also like for example if there is a player available जिसको लगता है कि समर में हो सकता है इसके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा intensive race हो around clubs, so they kind of get their hands quite early. I think so for me the most अगर City की बात करो तो January में we had some spectacular signings in the form of Ahmed Rathore, Julian Alvarez.
Yep.
So, but अगर मैं vividly याद करूँ जिसका मैंने मतलब I kind of enjoyed that kind of races, and both ये दो players के बारे में बोल रहा हूँ, दोनों players की almost similar story रही है, and those players are your Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo. So Luis Diaz was I think so very close to join Tottenham, and then Liverpool सुमड़ी में आके उसको उठा के लेके चली गई.
Yes, correct.
उसके अगले साल Cody Gakpo was also like I think so not that close as Luis Diaz was, but Luis Diaz बहुत close था, like बहुत close. And I think so Cody Gakpo was not that close because United were not looking to pay the amount that
Hmm.
PSV was asking for, and then
Yeah.
Liverpool swooped in, paid that amount, and took Cody at. So
Yeah.
ऐसा कुछ देखने को मिले तो मजा है. I mean, be it City or be it any other club. But
Yeah.
since you asked about what do I expect? Honestly, I don't expect much in this window from a senior signing perspective, because
Hmm.
for the fact
Understood.
that
Yeah.
कि जनवरी में कौन सा ऐसा क्लब होगा जो अपना एक इम्पोर्टेंट प्लेयर बेचेगा, that too at a
True.
price where a buying club agrees to come to an agreement at
True.
this season. I
Less likely.
don't think
Likely.
other unless like for example let's say Chelsea, जिसका अभी अगर barring a miracle उसका UEFA competition अगले साल secure करना is next to none. The chances
Yes.
are quite nil at the moment. So
Yes.
if they want to balance their books to meet the profitability and sustainability rules, they can kind of put some of the players out for
Hmm.
in the window to get some money out of that. So that kind of situation I can understand, but I वही वाली बात है ना कि सिटी को जो स्पॉट्स फिल करने हैं उसके लिए इट्स बेटर कि वो समर में ही
Right.
जाए, unless and until like the last year for example जैसे कैंसिल का हुआ था, which was suddenly out of the blue, where I think
Yeah.
deadline day पे he got shipped off to Bayern Munich.
Yeah. Correct. Correct. Yeah. Deadline day.
So deadline day पे shipped off हुआ था, but then again we do not need any replacement because at that time Walker and Rico Lewis were there to
Yeah.
cover his position. And honestly, even in the following months, we didn't even felt the need that Cancelo अगर कुछ नहीं भी था कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा, right? So
Yeah.
all depends कि अगर अब since जनवरी में मैचेस भी नहीं है एंड
Hmm.
हमारी
That's a big
information देखी
plus.
जाए
Yeah.
तो सिर्फ अगर जनवरी में सिर्फ जॉन स्टोन्स हो सकता है इंजर्ड, और वो भी कल अपडेट आई थी पेप गार्डियोला से कि जॉन स्टोन्स is also expected to come back for Newcastle game, if not Newcastle game, after the training camp at Abu Dhabi.
Hmm.
So frankly speaking, injury situation compared to other clubs हमारी बहुत अच्छी होती जाएगी.
Yeah.
And by January coming to an end, I think so if there are no other injuries, अगर हडर्सफील्ड के गेम में है, न्यूकासल के गेम में कोई इंजरी नहीं अगर होती है, then we'll have a full team for Burnley वाला गेम और fourth round for FA Cup. So that I don't think so कि कोई जाने वाला है. Plus I'm hearing a lot कि यार पाकेता ले लो, अरे पालिना ले लो. यार मैं जो चना पूरी लेने जा रहे हो क्या तुम लोग, तुमको क्या 8.5 मिलियन पाउंड में मिल रहे हैं क्या वो प्लेयर्स की, जाओगे मिल जाएगा. Those players demand 80-85 million
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not that easy as people make it. It's not that
हलवा
easy.
है क्या, मतलब क्या क्या कुछ भी बोल रहे हो, मतलब ठीक है यू नॉट तुम्हारे पास क्रिएटर नहीं, बट देन those are the problems that you solve in summer and not in winter.
Yeah.
Winter is probably just to either maybe get, and plus obviously Lucas Paqueta के पास वो केस चल रहा है अभी भी, so
Yeah.
there is no point putting hands in something जहाँ पे उसका कुछ भी रिजल्ट आ सकता है. So it's what I'm saying that अगर कोई ऐसा टारगेट बाहर आता है, जैसे तू जूलियन अल्वारेज का ले ले, सॉरी मैं हमेशा वो गलत प्रोनाउंस Julian Alvarez was suddenly out of the blue. No one expected कि ऐसा कुछ होगा.
Yeah.
Because I remember शायद the day we linked and the day we signed him, 2 या 3 दिन का गैप था in that whole process, right? So ऐसा कुछ आए in January which kind of exciting, then कुछ फर्क पड़ेगा. Other than that, it would, from a senior signing perspective, I think so it would be just like any other window की next to none. But पता है फिर हम कर क्यों रहे हैं, हम कर इसलिए रहे हैं because उससे पहले there is a lot of baggage, and also and this is kind of like a very surprising fact that जैसे ही कल 12 बजा फाब्रिजियो रोमानो ने सीधा वही टाइम चुना
Yes.
to give a here we Claudio.
Yeah. Oh. So
I-
as I'll obviously give floor to Samir bhai to deep more dive into it, but as City का अर्जेंटाइन प्लेयर के साथ बहुत अच्छा रिश्ता रहा है, जो भी अर्जेंटाइन प्लेयर सिटी के पास आए हैं, हम मोस्ट ऑफ द इन्होंने अपने खुशी रखा है. and especially when you see a River Plate guy coming in January, अब तो उससे और expectation बढ़ गई है अभी when you talk about it. So
Correct.
yeah, so Samir bhai just enlightened us with Fabrizio's post, what he said, and
Yeah,
where
of
are we
course.
in this deal?
Where are we in this deal?
Yes.
I mean, the world knows where are we in this deal, but we just want to give a boys and blue stamp on that.
Yep.
Where are we in this deal? So here are we in this deal, boys and girls. Claudio Echeverri to Manchester City. Here
Here
we
we
go.
go.
Documents exchanged between City and River Plate to seal the agreement. 2006 born Argentine talent will stay at River Plate until December 2024, and then he will travel to Europe. 6-year deal for Echeverri. Look at this, man.
Insane. 2006 guy.
Insane.
He's just
Insane.
70.
And then
He's just 70.
and then City Extra का भी आता है top talent indeed.
Crazy.
Okay, I'll tell you. Just give me a second, yeah. But yeah, I mean, top talent. I think so. We really rate him highly. Otherwise,
Yep.
हम इतनी swiftly उसके लिए नहीं जाते.
And of course, the amount has been also, the discussed amount has been also pretty significant for someone for 17-year-old, if I'm not wrong.
Correct. I think so. The amount that we are paying, I think it's more than what we paid for Julian Alvarez. If I'm not wrong, I think so. We paid either similar amount or more than that.
We paid around, I guess, if I remember, 14 million or some 14 million pounds. So I don't know, in euros would be some 20.
This is I want to show. This is something because this is the first. I also read one more comment जो मैं अलग से add करेगा. But this is I want to show. Just give me a second. Yeah, this one. So just read this line, okay? This line. Close sources to TSS says, by TSS I mean the Secret Scout. Just shout out to the Secret Scout, has been really reliable for transfer news from be it senior level or be it academy level. He is the next generational number 10. There is nobody better at his age. Dude, there is nobody better at this age. Okay, and two more things to add to that. जो hype है ना Echeverri की, जो hype है, Julian Alvarez को 2 साल हो चुके रिवर प्लेट में खेली, 2 साल तो खेला रिवर प्लेट में, and I think Enzo भी 1 साल तो खेला ही होगा. Echeverri has not even played for a season at senior level at River Plate.
That's very
The hype, dude, the hype for Echeverri is much higher than the hype that was for Alvarez. And
I was shocked when I read he has no appearances for River Plate senior team.
No, not yet.
How is it possible?
I mean, it is. He's 17. He's 17. It is possible, but
yeah, it is possible.
So.
But still, like going for such a significant amount, and of course, you have worked on we are going to show the compilation of their skills, and people will get to know more what kind of player he is. But when you look at him or his skill, you can't believe that he's 17 and he hasn't played a senior level for his club, and he's going to go to Europe's one of the elite clubs. That's insane.
I think see, or I'll just add one more statement, which is what I've read, and just hear me out. Okay, this might sound blasphemous, but I was really intrigued when I read this, that by signing Claudio Echeverri, Manchester City might have given up on being part of the race to sign Florian Wirtz. But
that's
the player that they have signed, Argentine under-17 captain, the ceiling of Claudio Echeverri is much higher. The potential is much higher than Florian Wirtz.
Crazy. This is crazy.
So for anyone who is now what I like, जो हम hype की बात कर रहे थे, this statement sums up the entire hype around Echeverri.
Yes. This is the highest compliment, because you're comparing a player who is settled in Bundesliga, जो वहाँ पे किसी खेल रहा है, उसके जगह we are getting someone from South America who hasn't played.
बुंदेसलीगा का अगला 100 million plus sale है
That
after
shows how
after Jude Bellingham.
highly we are rating this guy. Like the crazy, the hype around this guy is crazy.
भाई बायर्न ने इसका बुलर का 1 साल का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लगा के फील्डिंग लगा दी भाई पूरी पिच के आसपास. भाई 25 आने दे बस. They're just waiting कि 25 आने दे बस. We're getting our hands on. We want to just grab you off from Liverpool. Come 2025. Okay, but yeah, enough about other clubs. Let's talk about the guy that we have got.
Our Claudio.
Our guy. We can proudly say it's our guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So Claudio Echeverri, also known as El Diablito, which means the little devil. The first word that everyone, not just the first word, even the first sentence that everyone says about it, he's a generational talent.
Yep.
Manchester City के हाथ में Manchester में पूरा असला बारूद लग गया है.
Yes.
Playmaking का, ठीक है. So, couple of things about the deal which I would like to share. First of all, कि उसका release clause activate कर दिया है. This is 25 million euros. So the release clause में ऐसा था that till I think so if you activate the release clause in the last 10 days of the window, then the club has to pay 30 million euros. But if you activate the release clause much before that, it's 25 million euros. Okay, so and it's not, so we have paid the designated amount 25 million euros, which comes out to around 22 million pounds. Okay. उसमें ऐसा है that City have paid 20 million as base fee and 5 million in add-ons. So rather than paying 25 in complete, we traded off 5 million add-ons. अब उसकी exchange में River Plate को दो चीज दी गई है. पहली, that River Plate will have 15% as sell-on clause on Echeverri, and River Plate can have Echeverri till December 2024. उनका जो Argentine पहला season है तब तक उनके पास वो रहेगा, and then from January is eligible to move to
City,
England. And by the way, आज Claudio Echeverri का birthday भी है. He's turned 18 today.
Crazy.
So now he's eligible to move to Europe.
Brilliant. I mean, that's
so the restriction on international movement have been lifted on Claudio Echeverri. Okay, so first of all, happy birthday, El Diablito.
Happy birthday, happy New Year.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so they followed the same pattern that they did for Julian, that they kept him for 6 months, and then Julian के time पे बस ये था कि that they had to pay some amount so that to get him early. Otherwise, it could have been a year. He could have joined City in January 2023, but then they paid some amount to kind of cancel that 6 months extra period. So जब ये शुरू हुआ, so River Plate wanted to have Echeverri for 2 years, not just one. They wanted him till December 2025, but City disagreed on that, as like December 2024 only. We cannot go beyond than that. So then they agreed to that, and I think the 15% sell-on clause we easily add here, so that like they kind of both the parties sat together and reached on a middle agreement.
Yeah.
And
this is fair.
First word for me, it's a very smart buy. I mean, they got, because this is that kind of a buy. Agar if it clicks, honestly, if it clicks, you and me, after maybe like 5 years down the line, 7 years down the line, when we look back to this day and look at this fees, we will be laughing like hell. We will be like, ये क्या कर दिया भाई? ये क्या कर दिया इसने?
Yeah.
Because अगर ऐसा प्लेयर ब्राइटन हॉल में चला जाए तो पता चल रहा है 3 साल में ब्राइटन चेल्सी को 100 मिलियन में चिपका है.
Definitely.
So rather than going out and buying, again, the thing is ready नहीं है, but then that's the responsibility on this club to kind of mold him in the City way right from the beginning. So वो बहुत important रहेगा देखने के लिए. अब एक सब अब मैं अगर तुझे थोड़ा बहुत उसका ट्रांसफर का बताऊं कि क्या सीन था क्या नहीं था, बिकॉज ये भी मतलब इट वाजंट इजी it had its ups and downs. So I think so Echeverri का after under 17 World Cup के बाद and that infamous Brazil versus
Brazil
Argentina
game.
जहाँ पे
Yeah.
Echeverri scored a hat trick and I think that was a breakout moment for him. वहां
Yes.
से वहां से he started off uh, on main pedestal कि भाई ये है, like look for him, like so then after that I think so Fabrizio tweeted कि there's this player who might generate interest, and I think so
Yeah.
Barcelona was the first club because
Yeah. There were a few
there was
European
a
clubs. I heard there were a few
yeah,
European clubs that studied him. Yeah.
but I think so Barcelona was at forefront because एक interview भी था where it said that ये simple है, हर अर्जेंटाइन यंगस्टर मेसी को आइडलाइज करता है, तो उसमें कोई
Of
बड़ी बात
course.
नहीं।
Of
एंड
course.
बार्सिलोना के लिए बोलते भी इसीलिए है कि भाई
Yeah.
मतलब वो कोई ऐसा है नहीं कि मतलब मेसी कहीं और भी खेलता तो किसी और का नाम ले लेते, मतलब ये बार्सिलोना फैंस वालों को ज्यादा दिल पे लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है कि अरे ये हमारा है हमसे ले गए, भाई तुम मेसी किसी और के लिए खेलता हो वहां का नाम भी ले लेते हैं, तो उसको
Yes.
उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता, तो ये ज्यादा छाती पीटना बंद करो पहले। जिसका जो भी नाम तुमसे जुड़ जाता है लगता है तुम्हारा खुद का जागीर बन जाता है।
They start to claim every Argentine. Argentine सबको
हाँ
claim करना चालू कर देते हैं,
अरे
देखो क्या
हर
हमारा है.
यंगस्टर यार, अर्जेंटाइन ब्राजील ये वो एंड तुम नेमार के नाम पे ब्राजील यंगस्टर्स ले जाओ, मेसी के नाम पे तुम अर्जेंटाइन पे क्लेम कर लो, यार क्या है, बवासीर क्लब है क्या, मतलब पागल क्लब है, ठीक है। तो बार्सिलोना से शुरू होता है फिर इसका, देन बार्सिलोना मेक अ बिड, अगले दिन आता है रिवर प्लेट ने बिड रिजेक्ट कर दी, मतलब एक दिन नहीं लगा उन्हें, एक दिन लगा डिसाइड करने में कि नहीं, एंड देन फिर बार्सिलोना के एंड से चांस आता है कि भाई दे आर नॉट गोना काउंटर बिड अगेन एंड दे विल वेट फॉर Echeverri because Echeverri dropped the bomb in one of the competitions उसके post match में that he is not going to sign a new contract. He
Oh.
will leave in December 2024. ठीक है,
Okay.
and that is the reason Barca is like कि भाई हम तो वेट करेंगे फ्री में, बट रिवर प्लेट ऐसे प्लेयर को फ्री में जाने देगा कि, पहली बात तो लाइक
Obviously.
देयर वाज नो सेंस इन इट, एंड द मोमेंट बार्सिलोना का बिड रिजेक्ट हुआ उसके आई थिंक कुछ ही दिन बाद मैनचेस्टर सिटी और चेल्सी दोनों का इंटरेस्ट बाहर आ गया, बोथ द क्लब्स आर इंटरेस्टेड, ठीक है, बट City made a very swift entry into that because they like अगर ऑफिशियल बिड तो चलो कुछ दिन बाद आया, बट बहुत हश तरीके से बात बाहर आ चुकी थी कि ये रिलीज क्लॉज एक्सेप्ट कर ले, ये रिलीज क्लॉज पे कर दे, and that also I think, and the thing is this one guy I would really like to congratulate for this one guy I think so, who has been really forefront for and responsible for these kind of signings is Juan Patsy. Just if anyone
Yeah.
who's like whoever watches, like just Google his name, just get to know who he is, because Julian Alvarez के लिए भी Patsy convinced Guardiola to have,
Yep.
and to the extent Guardiola got convinced that अगर Erling Haaland नहीं sign करता,
Yes.
Guardiola was completely fine with going in the season with Julian Alvarez as a lone striker. So and Patsy is Guardiola's very close friend, I think, because he kind of deployed him to look after South American talent, and he represents South American division of City Football Group as well.
Yeah.
So he kind of, and it not just this, even Enzo के लिए भी he was battling it out, but then Enzo का ये था कि he wanted game time assurances, and
Yeah.
he's asking game time assurances to Guardiola.
In midfield.
Anyway, like there is like no player, like that's the first rule, you cannot ask game time assurances to the man who
Yep.
changes his lineup once every 3-4 games.
Yeah.
Come on.
True.
Okay. So that then Enzo didn't happen, and I think so this is why they do not want to repeat that mistake, because ये वही होता है, ये साला बेनफिका चाहता, बेनफिका में तो सीजन
Yes.
खेलता, बेनफिका उसको 100 मिलियन में चिपकाता,
Yes.
they're like
Yeah.
भाई इस पे पहले ही हाथ मार।
Correct. That's
And
smart business.
also for the fact that that's smart business, because River Plate also knows for the fact that City can kind of come to a mutual agreement where they can kind of meet each
Yep.
other's demands.
Yeah.
And also just to add to this, River Plate का जो manager So guess कर कौन है? Former City legend, and he's a defender.
Oh, yes, I know. Demichelis, right?
Demichelis.
Demichelis, yes. I remember that. I
Demichelis.
saw it. He's correct.
Recently मैंने अभी न्यूज़ पढ़ी कि डेमिशेलिस और उसका जो भी कोचिंग स्टाफ है, they held an intervention for Echeverri to kind of reprimand him and made him realize that कि भाई जो तूने कहा that was completely wrong, because River Plate के fans are really not happy. He made them his enemies. But then 17 साल का है, I mean
Yeah.
It's not about Argentine. I mean, obviously,
They're passionate South American fans who just
no,
want
but
to like
I mean, they are not wrong in this stance as well. I mean,
yeah,
if,
fair. Yeah, agreed.
Because honestly, what they wanted is कि contract sign करता, release clause बढ़ जाता, River Plate would have gone more money. But then the fact that कि यार 17 साल का है, naivety हो जाती है. You are bound to make these mistakes out of emotion, and I think so that's the reason why it happened. So yeah, and things so but there's one more thing about इसका breakout moment. एक तो जो senior stage के breakout moment तेरे को बता दिया मैंने, और I think so वो इस season City would get in contact with Demichelis to give him more game time, so that he can develop over there, he can be over there. But I think so the major breakout moment when he was very young came in 2017. So there's this thing called Venice Champions Trophy where there's a 7-a-side खेलते हैं. तो उसमें इसमें Echeverri represented River Plate. Echeverri scored 4 goals against Juventus.
Oh,
so
nice.
That was the moment where scouts start to look up for him. कौन है ये, क्या है, क्या खेलता है. But then let me show you that just under 17 World Cup की बात करें जकार्ता में हुआ था. Let me show our audience and viewers about कि वो क्या moment था जिसकी वजह से Echeverri became that hyped up with the name that we're constantly talking about. So here we go.
He's also wearing number 10.
Bonafide number 10 है भाई.
Yeah. Yeah. And just by the way, to remind everyone, Brazil-Argentina is actually a big game. I think most of people know, but yeah,
it is the biggest of the lot, right? Biggest of the lot. Yeah. This is where these talents gets noticed. Lots. certain legend of the game.
Certain number 10. So certain same shirt.
We don't want to take the name because जब भी कोई player को इस ये वो मतलब अर्जेंटाइन ये इंग्लिश ये आयरिश ये बोलते हैं वो सारा चलता नहीं. तो it's just like ये
वो टैक्स नहीं बोलने का. वो टैक्स नहीं चाहिए. Yes.
But अगर मैं प्रीमियर लीग की बात करूं, जब से मैंने देखा है, जब से I think so एक प्लेयर जिसका मुझे रिमाइंड कराता है ये वो है ईडन हज़ार्ड.
Yep, you can say that.
Right-footed Eden Hazard, भाई. Right-footed Eden Hazard. That's the bare minimum I'm saying. अगर कोई स्टेक पे ऑफेंड करे तो I'm really apologize for that. मैं हाथ जोड़ के माफी मांगता हूँ, but that's where I'm being realistic about कि भाई कुछ ना हो तो ये तो बने. और जब ईडन हज़ार्ड चेल्सी खेलता तो वो आप अकेला ही काफी टेरराइज opponents defense. तो कुछ वैसा ही देख रहे. एक तो राइट फुटेड है, and then he has a very low center of gravity, which like it's a pure number 10. हमें जो हम लोग हमेशा बोलते हैं कि भाई हम लोग को एडजस्ट करना पड़ता है. We had to kind of get an inside forward who can cut in and kind of do that. I think so this is a pure number 10 जो बीच से खेलेगा.
Yeah. Like, who's good at dribbling, who is a goal scorer. Yeah.
The goal scorer, man. He can even operate through wings, but I think he prefers more in the middle. So he can cut. Iska hold up play अच्छा है. He can connect well with the forwards as well as with the wingers. और भाई मतलब technical ability तो देख ही लिया तुमने.
Yeah.
माशा भाई और technical ability है, like vision to drop passes. दैट इज तो
Yep.
एक तरीके से कह सकते हैं ना कि जस्ट इमेजिन कर जब ये आएगा और केविन डे ब्रुयना के अंडर भेजेंगे इसको टू लर्न अंडर
That's
केविन डे ब्रुयना
yeah.
भाई
That's
बॉम्ब दे दी हाथ में बॉम्ब दे दिया भाई जो जो प्रीमियर लीग की राइवल टीम वैसे किलसती है सिटी के नाम
yeah.
पे हमारे हाथ में बॉम्ब लगे भाई उनको कि भाई फेंक फेंक के मारने के लिए
And
एंड सो आल्सो
And we
हाँ
have
मुझे बता
examples. We have examples like Phil Foden. When you see Phil Foden and David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne and how he has developed, and we have seen a new version of that player. And when we see the prospect of Claudio, who can work under the likes of KDB and potentially, hopefully, also Bernardo Silva if he stays. That's a very lucrative prospect to think कि भाई ये क्या होने वाला है,
प्लस
where it will go.
प्लस आल्सो एक चीज और नोटिस करी लाइक एकेवेरी हैज दिस knack बिकॉज़ एकेवेरी एक तो क्या है ना मतलब like he can draw many defenders towards himself. Like when we're talking about the vision to kind of exploit spaces, Echeverri can like draw defenders towards him, and then he can help other attackers to kind of go forward and create goal
Yeah,
scoring opportunity for themselves. So he can kind of he's basically like he can score the goals as well as he can help others to score.
yes, yes,
So we have a superstar in our hand, a potential superstar in our hands. Yeah, like this is not just some random signing. Okay, this is definitely a random signing.
yeah,
The only thing is, and I hope that Joe generational talent mila, like could be one of the world's best midfielders. Like when you ask about ki, City के पास केविन डे ब्रुयने के बाद वर्ल्ड ये the midfield general कौन होगा? I mean, obviously Phil Foden is there, but then Phil Foden के साथ कौन खड़ा रह सकता है? That's you
yeah,
have Echeverri as the answer now. So
yeah,
they are kind of also understanding कि भाई we have to start working on getting your future right, and to
yeah,
get that you have to start working on it now. So
yes,
for me this is very important to like have a player even though I know कोई senior appearances अभी नहीं है. He has made six appearances for River Plate from bench and he gave an assist. But then you have to also understand that कि last year के May I think May और June में he got promoted to first team. So you don't and plus
yeah,
उनका season December में खत्म हो जाता है. So
yeah.
technically it's understandable. But then this loan move should help him
Yeah,
to do
we can
that.
expect that.
Yeah, so I think so for me, one of the brilliant signings, even though I've never heard of his name 2 or 3 months ago. मैं कोई ऐसा नहीं कि मैं under 17 World Cup देखती नहीं, but ये है कि जो hype है, I'm just going with this hype.
Yep.
And since City ने 25 मिलियन देके साइन किया तो कुछ तो देखा है
Yes.
और वो
Yes.
दिख रहा है. And
Yeah.
हर जगह से एक ही शाउट आ रहा है कि Echeverri, do not sleep on this guy. You might a couple of years later you might have to write chants. You might hear Etihad erupt on this name when he kind of break ankles of your opponents. The only thing which I want is कि भाई ये थोड़ा like because of his smaller frame, because like
Yeah.
his shorter height and smaller frame, बस वो एक दिक्कत है. Aerial duels की दिक्कत है. I think so defensive जो उसका aspect है तो वो work करेगा शायद सिटी में. डिफेंसिव एस्पेक्ट पे शायद काम कर लेगा तो हो सकता है प्रॉपर प्योर एक फुट लाइक एकदम ना एक कंप्लीट मिडफील्डर जैसा बन सकता है.
Yeah.
So possibilities are endless for Echeverri honestly, and I believe that we like this is for me 10 on 10 for the future.
Yep. Yep. That's as very well summed up. I think जितना मैंने पढ़ा भी इसके बारे में, we are getting one of the generational talent जो as you said, बेंफिका जाके 100 मिलियन में आता है, ब्राइटन जाके 150 मिलियन में बिकता है. ये वैसा है जो सिटी ने पहले हाथ मार लिया है अपने पास लेके. नाउ दिस इज आवर प्लेयर एंड जो उसका सीलिंग है, जो उसका हमने बना के रखा है कि जो
अपसाइड बहुत है
जैसे कि ब्रीड्स को हम नहीं ले रहे बिकॉज़ जो एक बुंडेसलीगा का टॉप टीम में है उसे हम इसे ले रहे हैं एंड वी आर ट्रस्टिंग दिस गाय. दैट शोज कि इसका सीलिंग इज वेरी हाई एंड
देखो
आई एक्साइटेड टू सी हिम. यार
डाउन साइड ये है कि हो सकता है अगर आपको इसको 1 साल के लिए लोन पे और भेजना पड़े, समवन लाइक जिरोना, समवन लाइक पालन, अगर जरूरत पड़े, डाउन साइड ये है कि डजंट वर्क, ठीक है, 25 मिलियन की साइनिंग्स भी वर्क नहीं करती है, दैट्स द डाउन साइड ऑफ दैट. अपसाइड का कोई हिसाब ही नहीं है. There is no it's like his upside is limitless. He can go to complete different heights where there could be a point यहाँ पे I think so you if there's any, because एक तो 6 साल का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट चाहिए which expires at January 2030 technically, right?
24 है आज, correct. Yeah.
2030, which by the time he will be 24. So if he works on, if things will go well with him, he really fits it good. Nahi to then you have, and if he breaks out like a big star and everything, you could have big like your competent bigger clubs like Real coming with probably 120, 150 million if those 4-5 years carries on. But then that's what I'm saying, that you have bought yourself a piece in your puzzle for the future jahan pe he can really dictate the game. He can help your current generation players who can like for example Rodri, Echeverri, Foden, all of these guys who can 2-3 साल बाद आपको midfield के mainstay कहे जाएंगे. Be it, I hope Nunes or maybe someone else who might get signed in years to come. तो आपने एक तरीके से बहुत पहले और बहुत सही प्राइस पे बहुत बड़े टैलेंट. Props to them. 100%.
Yes, definitely. I mean, all of us are eager to see what this talent is, and as Samir bhai has very well summed it up, अच्छे से हमें पूरा explanation दी दिया है transfer में क्या हुआ है, and we also saw the compilations, so we're definitely excited to see this guy. Moving on, there is also there is not only one Claudio, there are many more names जो हमारे system में चल रहे हैं, and this is mostly on the right wing side. So could you just tell us which there is a one एक छोटी सी एक rumor है एक player के बारे में जिसको हम जानते हैं, but there is a one good rumor for a player जो many people may not know of this player. So could you please just enlighten us who are we talking about?
With Kevin De Bruyne's injury जो सबसे ज़्यादा position impact हुआ है वो right wing impact हुआ है, because I think so right wing नया experiment lab बन गया है अपना. काइल वॉकर को भाई एकदम attacking right back बना के पीछे ठीक है, उससे फायदा तो कम हो रहा, नुकसान ही ज़्यादा हो रहा देखा जाए, as we have seen in these last couple of game weeks. So that's a very clear signing that you need a right winger. You need to get a right winger who can hold up your wide right side, okay? And I think that's very important to go in. And plus, as you do not have to forget that Bernardo Silva has a release clause for 15 million, which will be activated by non-English clubs in summer 2024 beyond. So you need to also think about if someone activates that release clause, how we can fill those gaps, because Bernardo Silva का direct replacement मिल ही नहीं सकता. जो player आपका 5-6 positions खेलता है, जो आपका non-luxury player है, ये मैं क्यों करूँ? There is a video of that, why I'm doing this, and I think so that video will follow up to this one, why I'm saying about the non-luxury player. You can get a reference. So please keep stay tuned to Boys and Blues. There are things in the pipeline. And before that, I was like, just smash the like button. आपको बस अगर आपको कुछ भी सजेशन देना है प्लीज कमेंट्स बॉक्स को यूज कीजिए. जो चैनल पर नए हैं, जो सब्सक्राइब नहीं किए, प्लीज सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए, so that YouTube algorithm gets to know that you're liking the videos, then they can pump it up to the other football fanatics who might not be aware about the channel, and so that they can also join the family if they feel like to do that. So coming back to what we're talking about, right wing, that we need a right wing, that's a pressing need. But then I think so the board says, hang on a minute, बाहर चक्कर काटने के बजाय घर में देख लेते हैं ना,
यही आसपास दिखते हैं, कोई तो है. हाँ. कोई तो है एक.
So और घर में देखने के बाद उन्हें जो बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट मिला है, अब उसकी बात चल रही, दैट इज 19-year-old Brazilian winger Savinho.
Yep.
So the news that came out from, I mean, who else?
The man.
Mr. The man, the myth who never sleeps. Basically, this is his month. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not
Actually, it's his month. Actually, it's his
month.
month. Yeah.
It's his month.
True.
Yeah.
When I'm
So,
opening up the tweet.
so it's on
Yeah.
your screens. That understand Manchester City are discussing internally to buy Savinho and bring him back to the club next season. Premier League and Bundesliga clubs want to approach City Group with 30 million proposals. In any case, Savinho will stay at Girona until the end of the season. Okay.
Yep.
So जिन clubs की बात कर रहे हैं, by the way, so there are two clubs. They are not named yet, but there are two clubs who are ready to cross that 30 million euros का barrier. One is a Premier League club and one is a Bundesliga club. But City Group ये consider कर रही है that they prefer to have Savinho in their team for next season rather than kind of cashing him on. And देखो, it makes sense because जो 1920 की जो एज है, क्योंकि प्रीमियर लीग में हमने देखा है प्लेयर्स लाइक मार्टिनेल्ली joined their clubs at 17, 18 and then they kind of broke through the ranks and they really shown. Like ऐसा नहीं है कि, you know, and plus he's playing in La Liga. He has having a very breakout season at La Liga.
Also, just to clarify, he's on loan at Girona, right? He's not a Girona player.
So apparently, basically, so I'll just share a stat key. I mean, that's Girona. He started in 20 games and he has 10 GNA right now. And तूने just अभी कहा कि जो clarification दिया, and yes, it's true. He's loan at Girona. He's not a Girona player. So apparently, when City Group signed him in 2022 from a club called Atletico Mineiro for a fee of 6 million euros with 6.5 million in add-ons, and then उस player को उन्होंने Troyes को allocate किया, but then he never played a single game for Troyes. Then he was
the French club, right?
Yeah, the French club.
Yeah.
I mean, Troyes at this stage is battling relegation, and apparently, if it doesn't work out for them, then they can slip to third division of French football. And so then he didn't play a single game for them, and then he was sent off to be the loanee in PSV, and then he played, I think, 6 months for PSV and 6 months for their academy, Jong PSV. And then he came back to Troyes, and then he got sent off to Girona, and then this season is his breakout season at Girona.
Yeah.
But I just took here B starts B specific. That's GNA. Okay. I mean, for a right winger, 10 GNA is not bad. Okay.
Yep.
It's actually decent figures. But then what he brings on the table, that's very important. Left-footed right winger. Okay. I think so. If you just imagine you have Doku, Haaland, and Sevilla as your front three for next season. So that itself gives you a little bit goosebumps.
And also, just to remind everyone, Girona is top of the table, by the way. Girona
is top of the table, correct.
Wonders in La Liga. Yeah.
Girona is very well positioned to qualify for Champions League. हाँ, अभी कोई अगर ये होशियारी का जना बोलता है कि अगर CFC के दोनों क्लब्स कैसे आ सकते हैं, देखो उसका जवाब अभी दे देता हूँ. Manchester City is not the majority owner of Girona. City has 47% holding. Pep Guardiola has 53% holding. So वो majority owner. City is just investor in the club. In case अगर कुछ और complication आता है तो वो अलग चीज है, but ये बहुत surface level का बताया है कि भाई possible है, और ये पहले भी हो चुका है. Red Bull Salzburg और Red Bull Leipzig 2019 में खेल चुकी है. So ज्यादा मतलब जिसके मन में कीड़े उत्पन्न हो रहे हो कि भाई ये नहीं हो सकता, सिटी अगले साल चैंपियंस लीग नहीं खेल पाएगी, नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. let those rumors and let those hush murmurs be laid to rest. कुछ नहीं होगा. Coming back to what we're talking about, मेरे हिसाब से cost effective solution है. एक तरीके से भाई कुछ से कि आज के डेट में 6 मिलियन में ऐसा विंगर जो एक ऑलरेडी आपके ला लीगा जैसे क्लब में, ला लीगा जैसे लीग में, जैसे लीग माफ करना इधर इधर उधर निकल जाता हूँ कभी कभार। लीग में जो एक पूरा season has been consistently performing at high levels, and then that play comes to Premier League. So adapting won't be that hard.
Yep.
So that's that's very cost effective solution. जहाँ पे अगर आप right wing पे Savio लाके उसको start दे दो, and then you can have like a major chunk of money to be spent on other priority signings, because you don't have only one position to fill. आपके पास एक midfielder भी चाहिए, आपके right center back who can play as a right back job, वो ऐसा player भी चाहिए, तो you can kind of allocate money. So अगर Savio आता है, for me it's very like it's मैं bargain तो starting से ही है, but then फिर वो City is ruining football वो सब शुरू हो जाए, and I really want to see that. थोड़ा मतलब दूसरों को चलते देखने में अलग ही मजा आता है कुछ भी.
Yes, there's a different level of pleasure in that, when your
Yeah.
rivals cry on because where they are, failing to, make their 80 million signing work, their 70 million signing work, and they see City doing 7 million, 15 million, 20 million, जो काम कर रहा है और effectively काम कर रहा है, उसमें City जीत रहा है. That's a different feeling. That's a very beautiful feeling.
Coming back to, so there's this page called Managing Barca. This page is this quote like कि two players Manchester City have taken away from Barcelona. Claudio Echeverri and Sabino. हाँ Sabino तुम्हारा प्लेयर था कब भाई? What?
They start to claim everything. They claim everything, bro. It's like,
Like
it's a divine right.
all they could have done is just one Wikipedia search. What's one Wikipedia search about? That would have saved that tweet from existing though. I was like, yeah. But I mean, you were also asking one more name about that because you have read about
Yeah,
Neto.
there was one more
Last
name
moment
which
निकाला कि
we know, but we don't know what's there.
यार मेरे लिए बहुत नया है. when I got to because I think so तूने मुझे भेजा था कि यार ये क्या सीन है इसका. तो यार एक सीधी सी बात है, पेड्रो नेटो, बाय द वे पेड्रो नेटो का इस सीजन में एक ही गोल आया है.
Yeah,
गेस कर क्लब के
there's,
अगेंस्ट.
was it? I think I saw it. Was it Chelsea or United?
अबे हमारे
Oh,
अगेंस्ट ही है.
yes, that's why I remember. Okay, देखा है मैंने exactly. अब
मैं समझ
देखा है
के
ना.
तेरे बस का नहीं है, इसलिए मैंने बोला कि
Yes,
कोई
yes,
बता
yes.
क्लब के
नहीं,
अगेंस्ट.
correct. I remember him scoring, but I thought it was some other match. Yes, of course,
भाई
the 2-1 defeat, the 2-1 that we lost. Yes,
आके भाई he
yes,
rinsed
yes, yes. I remember now.
वो
Yes,
कुछ सुखाया था उसको भाई in that run. तो
yes.
यार देख, अगर अगर कंपेयर किया जाए, I'm not going into कि भाई इसका प्लेइंग स्टाइल कैसा वैसा कुछ नहीं देखोगे, क्योंकि अभी इसमें सोचने का फायदा नहीं, बिकॉज ये सिर्फ कोई कॉन्क्रीट न्यूज़ है नहीं, बिकॉज दिस इज coming from a guy who works at transfers.com, so I don't know how reliable he is. So but in this basically it said that ki City has open talks with representatives of Pedro Neto to get an idea about it, because they need a defensive winger to
Okay.
to complement to work with Kyle Walker. पहली चीज तो ये है, अगर तुम जाओगे नेटो के लिए, the way City and Wolves handled Mateus Nunes वाला thing, it won't be easy for sure.
Yeah.
Pedro Neto and at this stage Pedro Neto is the top tier player. I think so Pedro Neto
Yes.
is somewhere around which the club bit revolves. एक तरीके से अब with Ruben Neves नहीं होने के बाद यही next एक स्टार है, ठीक है. Like Hwang Chan is star in making, but Pedro Neto is the star of Wolverhampton. So and plus उसके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में 4 साल बाकी है. So
I guess he was linked to some. I guess he was linked to some Premier League club in the summer.
He's linked to Arsenal.
Yeah, and his price was quoted around like 80 plus something. So I mean, it won't be cheap, right?
The last I read was 60, but yeah, 60 the bare minimum.
Yeah, it was north of around that range. So
60,
it won't be that cheap. Yeah,
100%. Like at this stage when you have, because when losing Pedro Neto is of much significance to Wolves than any other player, so obviously they want to make a bank with him. And उसने last year ही contract sign किया, 2022 में उसने contract renew किया था. पांच साल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स नहीं करे तो Bulls are in a very much good position and plus he's 23 so
Yeah, he's
Bulls are
young,
in
very young,
good
correct.
position to ask for 80 90 तो अगर फिर तुम इसके लिए जाते हो मान लो if they go Petronet I think so then maybe they'll cash in on Savio maybe they would cash in on Savio if they go Petronet and the difference is that Petroneto is a prem proven player 4 season खेल
Yep,
चुका है inroads inside out that's a big advantage but
yep,
then that advantage is coming with a very big cost so and then
yes,
that could hamper your plans for other positions as well it all depends ki what city is targeting for summer whether they want to go all in on a right winger and get someone like Neto who basically agar aake he could then sort your right wing for many years but then do you want to that's the thing so
yep,
अभी क्या होता है आगे जाके पता नहीं बट अगेन सिंस एज आई सेड कि भाई जो सोर्स है वो सोर्स भी like we it's not somebody you can completely trust on I have my doubts you have yours so I don't think so हाँ but I think so but in the end I would like to say कि 2 दिन पहले there is this news coming from CFG that the feeling that CFG is holding right now is that Savio will be a Manchester City player next season other than going back to Girona for another season or being sold. So
yeah,
I think so Pedro Neto का शायद could be just a rumor, but Savio seems a bit concrete. I think. So
yep.
yeah, that's what
And
my
also, we
stance.
saw in the compilations that what kind
And
of a player
yeah,
he
I
is.
think so. Yeah, I would like to just give it a glimpse of
Better, yeah.
whom
What
we're
kind of
talking
player?
about.
Yep.
What kind of
He's very quick, by the way. Hey, look at it.
भाई पेस अब्यूज है दोनों फ्लैंक पे
Yeah.
अगर ये सच है तो imagine having no pace for a couple of years to now having too much pace
Yeah.
next season.
And if I'm not
People,
wrong, I've read somewhere that he can play on either of the wings. Is it
yeah, he can,
correct
he
or?
can, yeah,
Yeah.
he can. He's primarily a left winger, but he plays on right.
Look at that. How quick that is. These kind of wingers are very helpful in a one-on-one situation where 1v1
Correct.
and where their decision making is very quick. And Pep Guardiola is known to make improve the decision making of the players.
ये
So
ये
when
ये
you think
ये
of it,
chaos creators है भाई पूरे chaos creators
yeah,
टिपिकल तुम्हारे chaos creators है like basically forward को सिर्फ box में होना पड़ेगा just to
yep,
connect with people
ooh,
that's भाई cold Co- Cole Palmer who हाँ
crazy. I mean,
ये 6 मिलियन में खरीदा और इसका कुछ लगने नहीं वाला था भाई बॉयज का वर्डिक्ट ये है कि भाई तुम सावियो ले लो प्लीज सावियो को सिटी ले आओ खत्म करो
yes, Savio is
गेट
the
अस
add-on money we got from Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer something 40 plus 5 है ना? It's almost similar to the add-on money that we are getting from Palmer. We're gonna spend
we
on
we
Savio.
we let, we let ice cold Palmer leave for red hot Savio
Yes, yes, that's very well put. Very well put. Yeah. So yeah, we covered our two mostly highly linked जो हमारे अभी तक नए names जो अभी तक discuss हो रहे थे. Like moving on, there is one position जो हम सालों से बोल रहे हैं भाई कब कब ये solve होगा कब ये solve होगा कब ये solve होगा. But
भाई
like
इस पे तो
is
हवा
there
कराओ
anything is there
इस पे तो
anything to
टोटका
dig into
कराओ
it? कुछ
यार
इसमें
अब
कुछ
इसमें
कराना चाहिए.
मिक्स्ड है इसमें ना मिक्स्ड है एंड ये देयर इज अ गुड न्यूज़ एंड देयर इज अ बैड न्यूज़ दिस इज काइंड ऑफ लाइक अ मिक्स्ड सिचुएशन and let's like brush away the bad news first so that we can just talk about like not bad, like not bad things after this. So Valentin Barco is a no go. It's almost confirmed by top English sources. I think so. Jack Cogan or family के इनसे बता चुकी है that Valentin Barco is unlikely to join Manchester City in January, but he's expected to leave. But City is basically not being seen as his destination into Europe. Uh, और एड ऑन में शायद उस अर्जेंटाइन सोर्सेस से ये भी आया था दैट बार्को हैज रिजेक्टेड चेल्सी and this is Argentine sources के इनसे थे कि बार्को ने चेल्सी रिजेक्ट कर दिया. The reason is because Chelsea wanted him to join Strasbourg first and then play a couple of years and then Barco's like but ये काम रह गया क्या मेरा मतलब इधर से पिंग पोंग बॉल
और चेल्सी तो known for it.
चेल्सी में कूदा है भाई, चार लेफ्ट बैक लेके बैठे, फिर तुम्हें एक और लेफ्ट बैक चाहिए, तीन लेफ्ट बैक सर चार तीन लेफ्ट बैक लेके बैठे, अभी तुम्हें यार एक और लेफ्ट बैक चाहिए.
That's different breed.
That guts है भाई, guts. This club has guts.
Yeah, but say no, well, digging down in the Barco deal, what's the details that we have? Why is
this there's this song ना मुन्ना भाई में हाँ थोड़ा दर्द हुआ फिर
पर चलता है.
So because we have been linked with this player from summer.
Yeah, exactly. We have been linked for a long time. Yeah. I thought it होगा.
मुझे भी लगा था यार at some point कि यार मतलब ये तो हो जाएगा. Like Echeverri came out of syllabus. और ये तो प्रिपरेशन इसके लिए करके गए थे जो एग्जाम में नहीं पूछा और आउट ऑफ सिलेबस क्वेश्चन आ गया जो सॉल्व कर दिया. So the reason that has been given regarding कि बार्को का क्यों pursue abandon कर दिया गया because City is expected that they are now looking for that position to have someone who is either homegrown or like from academy or something. So what they're looking for. And आज की डेट में we do have Sergio Gomez, but then ये various sources from City have been saying that they are okay, the club is okay to let Sergio Gomez leave on loan, but for that they need a replacement. So अब यहाँ पे since we're talking about that there are certain things that we would like to put it out on our channel. So this is one of them that two names.
Exclusive news.
I mean exclusive नहीं कह सकते, but ये कि भाई मतलब हमें पता है. ये ज्यादा लोगों को नहीं पता होगा, ये हमें पता है. ठीक, we can हम अपने रिसर्च पे थोड़ा प्राउड फील कर सकते हैं. ये तो हमने पता किया है. कुछ तो अलग रहेगा हमारे चैनल पे, ऐसा थोड़ी है कि मतलब सब बाकियों को पता है वो हमें पता है, जो हमें पता है बाकियों को पता. तो on this, so first name that I would like to talk about is a touch right left back called Ian Maatsen from Chelsea.
Yep.
हम फिर आ गए चेल्सी से प्लेयर खरीदने. So for Ian Maatsen, the interest is there. First, that's it. It has not been kind of converted into something concrete, but yes, City is kind of monitoring Ian Maatsen's situation at Chelsea. Ian Maatsen, 21-year-old, Dutch left back. And the last time City signed a Dutch left back, we got 5 trophies in the year. तो सिचुएशन क्या है? सिचुएशन ये है कि उसके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पर 18 महीने बाकी है. His contract is expiring in 2025. And Chelsea की जो नई regime है under Boehly and Natali, they have a policy that if a player has less than 2 years left on their contract, they either have to renew within a year or they will be sold. Yep. So that clearly means that Maatsen will either be sold in January or it will be sold in summer if it doesn't renew his contract.
Yep.
अब मार्सन के लिए जिस क्लब ने रिसेंटली कांटेक्ट किया है चेल्सी को, वो है बोरुसिया डॉर्टमुंड. बट एंड यू नो देयर एक पता है, दिस इज नाइस कोट आई रेड, दिस नाइस ट्रांसफर प्रिंसिपल आई रेड कि अगर कोई उम्र दराज प्लेयर for our English audiences, whether if it's a very old player, if Real Madrid or Bayern Munich sells you a very old player, run from them. And if Bayern Munich, sorry, Borussia Dortmund, Ajax, or Benfica comes to a club to buy the young players,
That means
think twice before selling.
yes.
So going by this principle, going by this uh, one sentence logic, signing holding an interest in Ian Matson makes some sense because जो जैसे तूने और मैंने कहा कि भाई ये वो पोजीशन है जिसपे हवन टोटका कुछ कुछ तो कराओ ताकि कुछ तो मतलब एक डेजिग्नेटेड नेचुरल
Proper left back. Yes.
प्रॉपर लेफ्ट बैक यार सही बताऊं एस्टुपिनियन को ब्राइटन में देख के लगता है कि यार लेना तो इसको चाहिए था भाई
सीरियसली मतलब मेरे से कि कब आएगा सिटी में ये दिन की हमें एक प्रॉपर लेफ्ट बैक देखने मिले
यार मतलब कुकुरेया के पीछे भागते भागते हमने एस्टुपिनियन के बारे में कभी सोचा नहीं था लाइक ठीक है दैट्स लाइफ हाँ बट इयान मैटसन देखो डॉर्टमंड ये तो अभी चेल्सी का सिचुएशन है कि चेल्सी वांट्स एज मच मनी एज दे कैन बिकॉज as I said कि उन्हें in the very beginning of our episode कि भाई उन्हें एम ये है कि सिंस उनके यूएफए कॉम्पिटिशंस में क्वालिफाई करने के चांसेस ना के बराबर है and the max they can qualify this year is probably like conference league but Europa और Champions League तो अभी तो बहुत दूर है उनकी नजरों से so for that तो इसीलिए I think so just to balance their books and just to not be a victim of FFP for another year they need to sell substantial they need to sell to get substantial amount to follow the PNS rules तो उसके लिए they are not going to sell Matson at a very low bowling price so बिकेगा तो 40-50 million तो what I anticipate for them and that's the only hold up that Borussia would have because Dortmund is not known to pay such amount for youngsters. So and that's what I also hear in that Dortmund is not looking to meet Chelsea's valuation. They are open to have him on loan and then option to buy, but then Chelsea's like यार तुम time waste करो क्या मत किसी और कहीं और जाओ भाई ये तुम कटोरा लेके कहीं और भीख मांगो यार क्या मतलब हालत देखो हमारी हमें पैसे चाहिए भिखारी से भीख मांग रहे हो क्या तुम क्या चल रहा है तो फिर अभी डिपेंड करता है कि भाई ओवर द मंथ्स क्या होता है सिटी का बट आई थिंक सो मार्सन के चांसेस मेरे साथ जाने के काफी कम है मे बी कैन गो ऑन लोन बट जो वैल्यूएशन है क्योंकि चेल्सी के पास प्लेयर्स बेचने के लिए इतने हैं नहीं और उन्हें चाहिए काफी
on a right price
on a price which they would consider selling a player
that suits them correct
so I think so Martin is more of like a summer topic if not in January but और दूसरा नेम जो आया जिसपे ज्यादा कुछ आया नहीं but since it came out in the open is that Barcelona is considering to present Alejandro Balde as like under a swap deal to Manchester City in exchange for Joao Cancelo. I mean, ये भी ऑप्शन बुरा नहीं है because यार देख तुझे और मुझे पता है बारसा के औकात नहीं चलती उनसे 25 मिलियन का एकेवेरी नहीं खरीदा सिटी को 40 मिलियन देगी चांस ही नहीं
फेरन टॉर्च का पैसा अब तक नहीं आया है तो कैंसिलो का पैसा तो कभी आएगा
20 मिलियन नहीं आया अभी शायद 20 या 15 से नहीं बट देन फेरन टॉरेस का तो एग्रीमेंट ही वैसा था तो मतलब यू कैन नॉट ब्लेम बारसा फॉर दैट बनाया बट फिर वही है ना भाई कि भाई 40 मिलियन अगर कैंसिलो के मांगोगे या 30-35 भी मांगोगे तो वो 5 पता नहीं कितने साल खींचेंगे इनका यही है भाई ये मतलब they are basically entering into a gunfight with 2 years of Spotify premium and 2 डब्बा Camp Nou की घास तो यार
it's not far away it's not far away
यार मतलब ये कैसे like basically ई ना हो सकी भाई, ऐसा ई ना हो सकी. So
Yeah,
I think so again. So also,
yeah,
but not much has been spoken about it. But this proposition could happen. So let's see. क्या तो लेफ्ट बैक मेरी गो राउंड में यही है कि भाई सर्जियो गोमेज कैन लीव ऑन लोन, बट नॉट बिफोर अ रिप्लेसमेंट हैज बीन साइंड. तो अगर कुछ देखना हो इस विंडो में फॉर सिटी फैंस, तो आई थिंक सो दिस इज समवेयर वेयर यू कुड काइंड ऑफ कीप एन आई ऑन कि सर्जियो गोमेज अगर चाहता है, बिकॉज़ गैलाटासराय से लिंक हो रखा है वो. So अगर वो चाहता है, so then if we go and buy out a left back to replace him, so that's something that we could keep an eye on. So yeah, अगर
yeah,
कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग हो विंडो में तो हो सकता है ये एक स्पॉट जहाँ पे
yeah.
फैन बेस कैन कीप एन आई ऑन.
And I think every City fan is, at least not if not January, then at least summer में तो भी सोचता रहेगा भाई कोई लेफ्ट बैक तो आएगा सिटी में finally one day that we will have.
भाई
We don't know.
सिंपल है सर्जियो गोमेज के क्योंकि देख अगर इयान मैटसन का प्रोफाइल देखो तो इयान मैटसन का प्रोफाइल सिमिलरली टू पार्कर.
Yeah,
इयान मैटसन भी कहीं भी खेल सकता है, लेफ्ट बैक
yeah,
खेल सकता है, लेफ्ट विंग खेल सकता है, लेफ्ट विंग बैक ही टेक्निकली ही इज what you could say like to like for Sergio Gomez, but someone who is homegrown and someone
yeah.
who has a prem experience more than Sergio Gomez and
Yes,
Barco as well. But Barco is more of like Barco is like a unicorn player. Like it's not just on wings. He can play in middle. He can play in multiple positions. So
yeah,
that's basically कि तुम क्या चाहते हो in that position. And I think so अगर कुछ लेफ्ट बैक साइन कर लो तो भाई वो जॉस्को गार्डियोल पे जो एक्सपेरिमेंट चल रहा है ना वो बंद हो जाए बस. मुझे भाई उसको वो सेंटर बैक पे खेलना शुरू कर दे बस. यही मेरी
yes,
तरफ.
yes, and we'll find about
बहुत गाली
this.
यार, बहुत गाली खाता है यार बिकॉज ऑफ हिज लेफ्ट बैक एंटिक्स है. क्या करे, उसमें सी गलती भी
Yes,
नहीं.
yes, and we'll obviously find out about this more in coming days कि क्या होने वाला है.
इनकमिंग डेज
And
keep an
moving
eye
on,
on left backs. I'm repeating last
yeah,
last. If something happens, this is my hunch or this is my instinct that कुछ होता है तो शायद इस डिपार्टमेंट में हो सकता है. Otherwise,
yeah.
I don't see it.
बट एक जगह जो डेफिनेटली होने वाला है जो हम बहुत टाइम से स्पेकुलेट कर रहे हैं एंड आई थिंक ही हैज टू गो बट इज देयर एनी अदर अपडेट दैट द प्लेयर वी टॉक्ड अबाउट फॉर सेवरल मंथ्स मिस्टर कैल्विन.
कैल्विन फिलिप्स का तो भाई कैल्विन फिलिप्स के लेके तो मुझे ये लग रहा है कि भाई बिना कोई खेले इतनी डिमांड कैसे हो सकती है किसी.
Yes, and of course the club जिसके बारे में उसका भी just नाम like linked हुआ है, that's surprising for all of us कि bro how this guy
I
is
was
doing it.
shocked. मतलब there was this meme ना AIB का. अरे मेरा तो मैं तो फट गया भाई. मैं तो टूट गया.
Like how?
मैं तो like and also to quote other meme, अब घोड़ों की रेस में गधे भी दौड़ेंगे.
Yep.
So right, so जो latest अगर मैं मतलब the one and only के end से basically जैसे so there's a show called What If, Marvel पे जो Marvel का एक show है.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
There's this the main leader called the Watcher who watches everything. उसका voice over Jeffrey Wright ने दिया है. Fabrizio Romano is the watcher of transfer window. ठीक है. This guy is the
सारी खबर है बंदे के पास, सारी खबर है.
भाई सब मतलब उसका like this is his month. मतलब उसका अलार्म क्लॉक जो है ना भाई वो कितनी बार तोड़ा जाएगा पता नहीं. So कैल्विन फिलिप्स के जो आर वॉचर के एंड से जो खबर आई है वो ये है. Can you see it? See
Yep.
it, right?
Yep.
Juventus have now opened talks with Manchester City to discuss Calvin Phillips' deal. Negotiations starting between clubs as Calvin is said to be open to the move. Juventus plans to offer loan with buy option clause. City wanted to be mandatory. Talks on. ये आया था आपका आज से 14-15 दिन पहले.
Yep. And we thought कि this looks promising. यहाँ कुछ होगा and mostly there would be any other club.
नहीं तो अभी इन 15 दिन में देखो डेवलपमेंट ये हुई कि आई थिंक जो द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट I what I've read online about everything, if what I've gathered कि वो जो मैंडेटरी बाय की जिद छोड़ दी है एक बार के लिए. Now they are
Hmm.
open that they want to send him out of loan. They just want him out of the club. Basically.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now it's coming to that point कि they just want him out of the club as soon as possible. Okay.
Hmm.
They Pep has क्योंकि Pep ने यार ये बात like publicly बोल दी कि I don't see Calvin as a part of the plan. So that's it. That's it. I think so. That was the final nail in the coffin. Uh, एंड नेगोशिएशन चल रही है. वही है कि यार देखो यूवेंटस वैसे भी यार मतलब यूवेंटस बेसिकली वैसा होता है कि भाई वो कुछ खरीदने जाएगा तो कोशिश करता है कि इसके कम से कम पैसे दो. मतलब उसको चाहिए
Hmm.
पूरा प्रोडक्ट बट
Yep.
उसको कम पैसे. यू नो अगेन जस्ट टू कोट अनदर मीम, देयर इज दिस ओल्डर गाय जो रेड बुल खरीदता है, वो बॉटल रखता है और बॉटल लेके जाता है, फिर कुछ पेंस रखता है, वो शॉपकीपर देखते रहता है
Yes.
और वो लेके निकल जाता
Take it or
है.
leave it types. Yeah.
That and the guy is like and the guy is very older. That's
Yeah.
Juventus. Juventus is also
Yes.
known as old lady, by the way. So
Yes. Yes.
ideally, that's what Juventus is.
And they are known for most of the free transfers or like the cheapest
Mhm.
transfer to get. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
So I mean, I think so. Tall me या किसी के end से मैंने पढ़ा था that Juventus wants to pay 40% of Calvin's salary while they want City to pay the rest of 60%. And again, जैसे even Fabrizio के end से भी आया था कि it's an option and
Hmm.
that has been confirmed by Tolmi it's an option. So I think so. Now they're open to facilitate इसका loan deal. But सिर्फ Juventus देखो pole position में है क्योंकि Calvin wants to try out to play in Italy and he wants
Hmm.
to he's जो भी न्यूज़ में आ रही है that he wants to learn under Massimiliano Allegri. तो and देखो the only instance I remember from this is you remember this player called Chris Smalling. याद है?
Yep. Roma
So
legend now.
भाई जब वो रोमा में गया था ना जिस सीजन में कहते हैं दैट सीजन ही वाज इन सीरी ए टीम ऑफ द सीजन
Yep.
एज डिफेंडर. द
Yep.
सीजन वेयर ही वेंट फ्रॉम यूनाइटेड
Yes.
टू रोमा जब गया.
Yep.
So and also for Calvin is like yeah like I think so I'm speaking for both of us or if I'm speaking myself but तू अपना take दे देना इस पे क्या है. Calvin से कोई शिकायत नहीं है. मतलब it's just that it's unfortunate that he was
Yeah.
not being considered as a city level player and जो भी गेम टाइम उसको मतलब उसने कुछ खास ऐसे दिखाया नहीं. But then
Yep.
it was a failed transfer but from a behavioral point of view Calvin was there should
Yeah.
be no complaints.
Yes.
ठीक है.
Agreed.
He was working जितना I think so he was working and he was head down, he was smiling and there was I think there was a tweet भी आया था कि you know there was an older lady who got to meet Calvin made sure that you know she has been taken care of.
Yes.
I think so during Everton वाला गेम था या फिर uh, कौन सा होम गेम था. I think so yeah लिवरपूल वाला गेम था. That तो मतलब behave जिस तरह से उसका बिहेवियर था जिस हिसाब से उसका डिमीनर था टॉप मार्क्स फॉर दैट.
Yeah.
And I think so he deserves to go out on loan and kind of restart his career and kind of
Yeah.
maybe grow out somewhere else and help some other team to
Yeah. Also,
be at the top.
Euros is also on the corner. I think
Heroes are-
this is also important for him to get the 6 months of game time, which will definitely help him. वो तो है. I mean, this would be a good move for him. Are there any other clubs in contention for Calvin, or is Juventus
Yeah, there
the
are,
one?
there are. So first is Newcastle. Let's talk about Newcastle. So I mean, Newcastle का पता है कि Sandro Tonali is
Yeah,
out of
suspended.
action till
Yeah.
suspended till August next year because of the whole betting thing. So they do feel that because अभी भी न्यूकासल का गेम चल रहा है. क्या स्कोर लाइन क्या हुआ है उसके चल रहा है कि
It's
चालू
nil
होना
nil.
बाकी
It's
है?
nil nil. It's nil nil.
कितना हो गया
12 minutes.
टाइम?
12 minutes. 12 minutes.
बट न्यूकासल का देखा कि न्यूकासल भी बहुत यार स्लिप होती जा रही है because of उनकी injuries issues इतने हैं. Then you know they have been not able to close out on games and they have been battered as well. So they need reinforcements. But and then again FFP issues उनके भी है. but they
Yep.
also spent a good amount last season on players. Tonali ho gaya, then they got Livramento, Javi Barnes and all of that. So they also need to kind of control on their expenses. So that's why I think they're looking for loan moves for these players. So Calvin kind of is in the target. Earlier they were discussing internally, but I think so they are now monitoring the situation कि Juventus और City के बीच में क्या होता है. There's one more club, one more English club, which is a surprising name for me, but now I can see why. So the name is, and this is again, जो हमने कहा कि जो सबको पता है वो हमें ही पता है in terms of transfer, जो हमें पता है वो शायद सब कुछ पता
सबको
होनी
ना
चाहिए.
पता हो.
So the other club that is, और हमें भी मतलब सब जहाँ से हमने भी सुना है उनको तो पता ही है, but like some of them might have missed out on this. So the club that I'm talking about is Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace has also made an approach to Manchester City to keep up informed about what happens on Calvin Phillips' team. Yeah, I haven't read much about it, but हो सकता है what I can assume is कि उनकी भी शायद injuries होगी in this department,
Yep.
and they also would want to have an injury cover, and Calvin kind of they could provide him game time, but from a player perspective, he has accepted Juventus offer, and he wants to play Juventus and would consider other clubs only if Juventus moves doesn't happen. But एक club जो मतलब
I could not believe when you said it कि this is the name that is rumored out for him. I was like, how? How
भाई
does
भाई
he know?
ये तो so, we're talking about uh, Paris Saint-Germain.
Was linked with Calvin Phillips.
Parisian Nawab. We're talking about the Parisian Nawab. They are linked with Calvin Phillips. And ये भी I think so, ये Telegraph के end से है. Telegraph and I think it is some of maybe some French portals. When I read that, my first thought is why? I mean, तुमने मोस्कार्दो लिया है, who's a defensive
Yeah.
midfielder. ठीक है, I mean, he failed his medical and because he has a foot injury and then he anyway come back into the medical. So हमारे पास लॉरेंस जायरे है, मेरी है, हमारे पास
Yeah.
और like उसे तो ठीक है. Is this a hint that Manuel Ugarte failed at PSG? I mean, what they're trying to say with this? Like उन्हें अभी पता ना 11 प्लेयर ही खेलते, like जैसे टॉट बोली को था ना कि उसको लगता था कि भाई 12 खेलते
12 लोग खेल सकते
11
हैं.
लाइक ओनर्स चेंज हुए हैं क्या, कि भाई दे हैव नो आइडिया कि भाई पिच पे आउटफील्ड में 10 खेल सकते हैं और एक कीपर खेलता है. हाउ मेनी मिडफील्डर्स डू दे नीड?
Yep. That's even I was shocked. But
This is
what do you
another
think?
Chelsea making. Another Chelsea making in terms of the number of players that they have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's
I think so
PSG
they can,
all around.
right? They can honestly, they can. If I'm not wrong, they can field an entire 11 of midfield.
Yes, we had discussed this in the summer transfer. Ki they unka insane the numbers that the players that they have bought.
The
Yeah,
numbers that they
actually,
have, like और प्लस आई थिंक सो इनका एफएफपी का तो पता नहीं यार, इनके तो क्या ये मतलब ये इम्यून होंगे उस डिस्कशन से या उन सैंक्शन से रेगुलेशन से, हो सकता है इसलिए वो लोग करते हैं, क्या पता नहीं. बट आई मीन it for me it sounds like another made up rumor shit, or maybe Telegraph got it wrong or whatever, but I would be surprised. But if I kind of think about this rumor, for me, from a club perspective, PSG seems a bit lucrative because PSG might get him on a permanent deal if they enter into this.
yeah,
Because लोन पे साइन करने का तो कोई मतलब
yeah,
तुक नहीं बनता मेरे हिसाब से.
yes,
अगर परमानेंट साइन करने आ रहे हो देन तो फिर क्लब को लग जाना चाहिए कन्विंस करने के लिए. फिर उन्हें क्या फर्क पड़ता है भाई, इसका
yeah,
गेम टाइम हो नहीं है, पैसे ले भागो यार.
yeah. Out of all the options that we
मतलब पैसे
said, your Juventus, Palace, Newcastle, all these, I don't think they will go permanently. They'll obviously go for a short-term loan for 6 months. But PSG is someone who we can expect to go for a permanent transfer.
हाँ
Yeah,
मतलब जनवरी में अगर एक परमानेंट डील अगर ये इसमें कुछ सच्चाई है इस होल थिंग, जनवरी में if this one club who can kind of go out and do the unthinkable in getting Calvin on permanent, so it's PSG.
Yep, yep.
But
There,
then
there could be.
I like it still sounds, I don't know यार, I'm still surprised to even read a sentence where Paris Saint-Germain and Calvin Phillips are written together or like
Yeah.
they actually same बंदे, मुझे नहीं पता है क्या है, पता यार, मतलब
Im-
अजीब और गरीब ट्रांसफर्स देखे यार हमने तो
Imagine,
ऐसे
just imagine him going to PSG and City PSG face each other in the Champions League. And he's doing some
अरे
wonders. That would be some story. Imagine this.
फिर तो we have to think, फिर तो अगर PSG चला गया भाई, उसका डेब्यू वॉच अलोंग करेंगे अगर चला गया तो
Yes,
100%.
we need that. We
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
there.
This is
We
the
will be
day of the
there.
go for both of us. We अगर वो चला गया PSG, तो जिस मैच होगा वो डेब्यू का वॉच अलोंग करेंगे.
Yes,
चल,
we will be
this
there.
is
Yes,
on camera.
definitely. Yeah. Yep.
जोश
So
जोश
I
में
mean,
बोल
this
दिया,
is.
but we'll do it.
So I mean, this is the one which we will. I think we can expect as a moment to go out. So yeah, Calvin Phillips is one, and also like just to go on
The
to
club
the
wants him
last
to
part.
leave. That's it. I think so.
Yeah, I think.
If there has to be a major business in this window, it has to be Phillips' departure. I mean, that is so. Calvin Phillips' departure is the topmost agenda from a senior level. Calvin Phillips' departure on loan to any of these clubs is the topmost agenda. So, मेरे
Yeah,
हिसाब से, like that's what I'm saying. इसका लोन का डिपार्चर और लेफ्ट बैक का मेरी गो राउंड
yeah.
हुआ तो कुछ इनमें से अदर देन दैट, अगर कोई मेजर इंजरीज हो जाती है जिसकी वजह से वी हैव टू डिप इनटू ट्रांसफर मार्केट टू जस्ट
That's a
लाइक
different thing. Yeah,
वो क्रैक्स पे प्लास्टर चढ़ाने वाला कुछ अगर करना पड़ेगा तो दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग, बट अदर देन दैट
yeah,
दीस टू
yeah. That's so. I mean, Calvin's story is almost gonna end, as we know. Just also before we wrap up, just one thing to catch up on. There are few youngsters that we're linked to. One, as you said, I guess he's from the Leeds guy, if I'm not wrong, that we're gonna talk about. So please let us know
लीड्स गाय तो
who is this guy.
लीड्स गाय तो बोल ही सकते हैं, वो कौन सा स्कोर करेगा अपने अगेंस्ट द लीड्स गाय, तो बोल लास्ट टाइम वी सेड द कोरियन गाय, you know
Oh
what I
yes, yes. If you say if you make try to say something like that, that's gonna be controversial. They're definitely gonna score against us. So yeah, the Leeds guy
mean.
that we are linked with. Any update there? Who is this guy? What can we expect from them?
Just, I mean, so Leeds guy अब सिर्फ linked नहीं रहा. The Leeds guy is almost ours. So it's also a heavy grow from Fernando that Finlay Gorman, who play in Leeds under 18, is now it's now all his move to City is almost done. So, but then maybe our viewers might ask कि भाई इन सब के बीच में इस आदमी का नाम लेके why we are putting out a separate segment just to talk about this guy. So the reason is that Manchester City has broken the British transfer record for a 15-year-old teenager of his age group
Yeah,
by paying close to or even more than £1 million. So Finlay
that's
Gorman is the first British teenager of 15-year-old who has been sold to a club for a transfer fee of 7 figures.
yeah.
So
That's
that's
a
his
huge amount for a 15-year-old, and that's crazy. Yeah,
even though, yeah, the thing is, but even though just say I'll just check the table, City is last in under
mm.
21 Premier League. So
Hmm.
3 बार हम जीते इस, but then there are many reasons for that because इस साल हमने literally वो पूरी टीम ही खाली कर दी थी, and all of these are like inexperienced youngsters, and this is I think so their first season at this level, so it's very expected. But then जो रिक्रूटमेंट रहा है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू, जैसे हैरिसन पाकर को खरीदा मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड से बिकॉज
Yes.
वो डैरेन फ्लेचर को अपना दोनों बेटे वापस चाहिए थे.
Right,
तो
right.
And there was this clip that came around when Harrison Parker Bhai, it gave me proper Stones vibes. So I am. Let's see whether he will get flipped in next 2 3 years for 25 15 million, or he could be the one who could step up and
Hmm.
be the first team. Devin Mukasa लिया West Ham United से, and now फिर गवर्नमेंट तो मतलब ठीक है. I think so. If not for this season or next season, future के लिए दिख रहा है that they were kind of investing to get the under 18s and under 21 fixed. So
Yeah.
yeah, and just to be very sure, just to let our viewers know कि हम किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. वो ready है ना? I think so.
Yes.
This is what we were talking about. No, apologies for this outlay, but हमें ऐसे ही मिला. So the one who scored is Finlagom. भाई ये फ्री किक में तो मचा डालेगा यार. ये सेट पीस वाला खिलाड़ी है भाई ये.
And again, if you are going to the price tag of like 1 million plus for a young player like this, इसका भी
Do
कुछ fix.
do we have our own James Ward-Prowse for the future?
Like 3 4 years in future.
We make him our James Ward-Prowse भाई. सेट पीस वाला एक बंदा दिला दो. क्या पता है 3 4 साल में
Yes.
सेट पीस लेने वाला बंदा है भाई.
Of course, we never know. I think
Free kick.
as we said, ki $1 million. But when you're paying such a high amount for a young player, that means you rate him high so much that ki uska kuch to
They rate
future
him
hai
high,
team
really.
mein. Yeah.
Yeah, there was this one quote I wrote that Gorman is probably the only player or one of the few players who get to play in an under 18 setup at the age of 14. Maybe I guess it's
Insane.
15, but then
Insane.
that shows ki bhai, the talent is on a different level. And to end this segment, the last thing I would like to tell about is that Micah Hamilton, a 20-year-old winger, will just go. And I think so. By the way, props to the one who wrote the lineup. So अभी जो मैच था शेफील्ड का, उसने subs में लिखा था Lewis
Yeah.
Hamilton,
Hamilton.
and I was like, I
Yeah.
genius.
Yes. Yeah.
My first when जब तूने मुझे भेजा था, so I was like 7 crore. भाई genius था.
That was a nice move. Yeah. Nice move. Yeah.
That was
Correct.
nice. I was like,
Yeah.
so City is now willing to offer a new contract. They have tabled a new contract actually to Micah Hamilton because the contract summer में खत्म होने जा रहा है. And then when you have been handpicked by Pep Guardiola to have your first senior game directly into Champions League, and
Yes.
in your debut you scored a goal and you gave an assist.
Yep. That's
So I have my confidence that कि भाई वो sign कर लेगा because अब इतने pool of players से गार्डियोला ने किसी को pick किया है कि भाई you're going to start in a Champions League. Even though it's a dead rubber, doesn't matter, but I really want you to have that experience. Phase against these Belgrade, मतलब मुस्टंडे ही बोल लो, and then you score a goal right when the game began. Like I think the first or second minute में score किया था उसने.
Yep.
So I think so. I have my confidence that कि वो sign कर लेगा. हाँ, but I don't think so उसको first team के लिए रखेंगे. He probably might be shipped off to loan to somewhere to get experience. Because if you're going for right winger and in the summer transfer window, but there are chances that maybe he might make it to the squad, or if not, then I think so he could get an experience on loan at City, and then he could be sold to another club. So it is a win-win for both of them. But that's it. So I think so the contract is on the table, and let's see whether he rejects the contract or कहीं और जाके he kind of shapes up, or he stays at City and continues to develop him. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically it for. I think that we have covered almost everything till date.
Yeah.
की जो transfer हुआ है, we have missed out on certain things, but I think so. Why we have missed out? Because those things haven't bloomed enough कि भाई हम उसके बारे में कुछ बात कर सके.
Yes.
And
We need
plus
more
आज
concrete
तो
news on that. Yeah.
आज तो ट्रांसफर विंडो खुला है भाई. अभी तो
Yes.
मतलब
It's just day one.
अभी तो अभी तो अम्यूजमेंट पार्क में चाबी घुमाई. अभी तो गेट्स खुले हैं भाई. अभी तो like
Yes.
let's let these rides oil up and then let's see भाई कौन कहाँ end up होता है.
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, I mean it's good to bring back Tabadla Bombazo after 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean
Yeah. Yeah. It feels good. It feels good to discuss all the rumors and all. So yeah, man. I think हमने like thank you so much, Samir. We've covered like you have very well covered all the aspects that we want to discuss about City. जो भी hot topic चल रहा है. And of course, we are going to put a lot of more content around the transfers because जितना और dates बढ़ते जाएंगे, we are gonna get to know more better and concrete news, and we're gonna provide your
and
content.
also for the fact that we are not at the, I mean we are working on it. So I think so we are not just restricting ourselves to City for transfers. We would also give a basic glimpse on other clubs as well, especially Premier League clubs.
Yeah.
I don't know unless for the other clubs if there's something massive, then we will talk about that. But for our contemporaries in Premier League club, whether कुछ बड़ा transfer करते हैं, then we basically do a second roundup. So this is
Yeah.
so we'll probably come up with twice in a week regarding TABADLA. So one of them is purely from City's perspective. One of them is from other clubs' perspective. But then if there is a week जहाँ पे City के बारे में कुछ खास updates नहीं, then we can shift. We can do it once and then we can cover the club. So basically इस segment में आपको इस महीने में regular videos मिलती रहेगी. And we'll try that we'll come at least twice, or I mean at least at most twice I can say. उससे ज़्यादा का sense नहीं है, at most twice to basically to give a weekly roundup कि हमारे क्लब में क्या हो रहा है और दूसरे क्लब्स में क्या हो रहा है. So yeah,
Yep.
so this is our first episode where we talk only about City. The next that we want to talk about is about other clubs, जिनमें कुछ major updates हो या कुछ ऐसी dealings हो जिसके बारे में we think that कि हमें put forward करना चाहिए. So that will be a next episode. So yeah, tell me over to you now.
Yeah, man. So as we covered, we all keep on covering about the transfer window this month definitely. And if you are like this video, and you should like this video because यहाँ पे you covered almost everything in detail. So please, if you have enjoyed the video, please make sure you like, you subscribe, and please do your comments. What do you think about in general about this transfer window? What do you expect? Is there any particular player you want City to go for, any particular position City to focus on? Please do let us know your thoughts, and we'll obviously make sure to mention it in the next episode and discuss on those topics that you have just given us idea about. So yeah, from City side boys in blue, two guys here signing off. Hopefully to meet you soon. Come on City, let's go.
Come on, City, City, let's go.